Well, you kind of referenced it there, but it is a light week for the
Hmm.
schedule. Teams in six-team districts are taking their bye weeks before district play begins. I think I saw Greg Tepper at Texas Football put out a tweet like, I don't know, I think it was like over 20% of the schools in the state are taking a bye week this week. It's a lot of schools. Um, but we do still have district games happening actually on the schedule. So those are happening in the likes of the bigger districts like District 12 6A, District 7 2A Division 1, and District 10 2A Division 2. That would be the Midway District, the Axtell District, and the Mart District. Um, so, which of this week's games in those districts do you feel like might have the most impact on the district championship race, or maybe just even the playoff race? Is there a game out there that strikes you?
Well, I'm just gonna go in order. I guess for 12-6A, since Temple's not playing this week, that kind of leaves it up to the Shoemaker Midway game and Harker Heights at Killeen. I feel like Harker Heights has a if they keep playing solid, they're gonna, take that one. I feel like,
Let me
Midway and
just jump in here. Harker Heights has got some speed, y'all. I mean, they have two backs that are just blazers,
hmm
and Midway had a hard time. Um, as good as that defense has been for Midway, it got exposed a little bit against Harker Heights. Go
Yeah.
on, DJ.
Yeah, I feel like that Midway's game this week is going to be a real, benchmark because for me, Midway, Shoemaker, Harker Heights, and Temple are the four playoff teams out of that district.
Mm.
So I feel like whoever takes, you know, the top two is going to be decided off of, this game, Midway versus Shoemaker, and then when Midway plays Temple. And then obviously if when Harker Heights plays Temple, because I feel like Temple's kind of been back on their game. So and then for 7-2A, Axtell and Italy are the two teams that are gonna end up 1-2. Um but this week is really gonna be, I think, the decider. Axtell has Valley Mills, who, has beat them last year in the playoffs, and
Hmm.
they're kind of a little bit of their kryptonite in terms of they're really strong up front. Axel has the speed, but if they can't get past that, those big guys up front, it's going to be a little bit tough for them. Um, and
Valley
then,
Mills is their kryptonite, and they wear green. How about that?
um, and then, obviously Valley Mills has, also some turnover. They also lost some guys after last season, and you could see some of that youth in their non-district schedule, but I feel like they're kind of settling in now. So, you can't really count them out. And then Rio Vista has also been on the come up this season. So, if Italy takes care of business against them, it's really going to come down to, Italy versus Axtell to decide who's at the top of that district. Um, Itasca has a bye. I don't know why y'all picked Itasca over Bosqueville last week because Bosqueville didn't play barely anyone in the non-district, and sure they're
They're
better.
talking trash, and she's third in the picks.
Look,
That's okay.
look.
Hey, showing some life.
I'm
That's all
just
right.
saying there are some times where I'm just like
What are they do?
surprised,
What are they
right?
doing? Yeah. I look at some of y'all's picks and think the same thing.
Um, I'm not
Well,
gonna say, right, like obviously sometimes I just pick off of vibes, but anyway,
I feel
um,
like the Wampus Cats, like they show you a little, right? And then it doesn't really pan out sometimes.
Yeah, they're a
yeah.
little inconsistent for sure.
DJ,
Uh,
did you have a
Our
final
teams
point on
too.
that Worthing Bremond Mart Chilton district?
I mean,
Because I have thoughts.
all right, let's get to your thoughts.
A Shoemaker Midway game, it's they might still both make the playoffs, but the loser of that game is going to be 0-2 in district, right?
Correct.
And that's not a good feeling. And I think those are two pretty good teams,
I
right?
agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody needs to win that one. Kind of like I said for the China Spring Conley game, somebody needs to win that one just to help their feelings, right? The I'm covering Axtell at Valley Mills on Friday night, so that's it's just a good small town football, but I'm not sure there's a whole lot of implications involved. Possibly, for Valley Mills, they could get a big leg up if they could beat the district favorite. But the Mart district, I mean, let's just call it the Mart district because they still rule. What's going on down there. They showed the other night they beat Bremond, and I think Bremond is going to get back on winning track and win that game this week. But here's the game. Here's the game. This is the dark horse to have an impact, right?
Okay.
Meridian at Frost.
Oh my
right?
gosh. That is a pretty dark horse.
Yeah, I know.
I can't even see that horse.
But hear me out. Okay, if Meridian wins this game, they're going to be 2-0 in district, right?
Yeah,
and
beat Hubbard. You're correct.
Right. And as weird as it sounds to say, the way Chilton is playing, there's no reason. I mean, it's not an absolute that Chilton is good, that Meridian can't beat Chilton, right?
Oh, I mean, as crazy as that sounds, yeah, I guess.
I mean, I'm not going to invest all my money in Meridian, but
good call.
But if they beat Frost and they're at 2-0 in district, and they probably need to win one more game, and we've got the Meridian Yellow Jackets in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And so that's and the same thing with Frost, though. That Frost wins that game, and there's some games out there that they can win. I think we said all along that, third and fourth and fifth and sixth in that district are going to be pretty interesting, even if it's not, juggernaut football teams playing for those spots.
Yeah. I think you both make some good points. I'm gonna go back to the Shoemaker Midway game for just a second. As you guys said, I think both are pretty good teams. But you really don't want to get to 0-2 in district because that's when you start sweating a little bit, because now you're like, ooh, we got work to do. Um, I think Midway needs to handle this game, take care of business, and I think they probably will. Um, I do. DJ listed, the probable four playoff teams in that district as Midway, Temple, Harker Heights, and Shoemaker. I think that's probably right. That said, a big game probably down the road for that is probably Shoemaker and Bryan, because the Bryan Vikings probably have something to say. They're a little feisty. They got some, they're all right. So we'll see how that one comes out. Um, but yeah, it's a big game for both the Wolves and the Panthers this week at Panther Stadium.